So, this situation happened less than 2 years ago. Um, and of course, people are still talking about it, in particular, Miss Azealia Banks, who actually was there when this happened in California. The whole Azealia Banks, Russell Crowe situation, the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan was there. I would love to know. I would love to know what some of you folks think about the situation. When I first heard about it, I was just like, okay. Um, do you agree? Do you believe Azealia Banks? Basically her recollection about it, the situation, or do you not? Me, I've never not believed her. I've never disagreed with it or anything, but it's a little interesting. One thing I have noticed, because she's not letting this go, and if she's telling the truth and this really did happen the way that she recollects that it happened, then she shouldn't stop. She shouldn't stop. She might need to coordinate maybe a little better, maybe conduct herself a little better about the situation. I don't think she's going crazy. I don't necessarily agree with, what she's thinking about, what she would like to do. You know, she said a few things, but I mean, if she's not wrong, then nah, she should stick to it. She should stick with it, absolutely. Um, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think it is interesting. I think it is interesting because number one, from what I understand, Azealia Banks' story, she's pretty much said the same exact thing about what happened that night since it happened. You know, she said Russell Crowe spit on her. Russell Crowe called her the N word being nigger, just in case you're tuning in for the first time. He choked her out. He did some stuff. And it was like, wow. And I think a lot of people, because of the way that a lot of people that are familiar with Azealia Banks, the way that they perceive her publicly, a lot of people are not really entertaining this. They're not giving her the time of day about this. They're like, oh, whatever, you might be lying. You're probably lying, this and that. I've never thought that she was lying, but it's one of those things. It's like, because she explained her side of the story, what happened, what she remembers happening, excuse me. And then you got the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan who was there. He explains his side. He gives his recollection of what happened that night, what he was there for, what he witnessed. I rocked with RZA hard. I rocked with him for the longest. Prince Rakeem, ooh, we love you, Rakeem. I still got that video on tape somewhere. But one thing about this situation I thought was interesting because he said what he said. He said, initially, if I'm remembering this correctly, and if you want to correct me, by all means, and you know what you're talking about, please correct me. Even you, Mrs. Azealia, by all means. He said initially, he was like, Azealia Banks, she was wild. She started kind of wilding at the party. It was a hotel party that Russell Crowe was hosting. And I guess they weren't too deep, but there was a good amount of people there. And if I'm remembering correctly, RZA said Azealia started kind of wilding. She got offended or upset about something. And, she threatened to cut one of the other female guests there with a broken glass bottle or broken glass with sharp edges. She was threatening to cut her and this and that. She became unruly to the point where Russell Crowe had enough. And yes, that Russell Crowe, the actor, he had enough and he grabbed her and, this is initially what I heard. I thought I heard. He said he basically, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? He held her or something, like he restricted her. I can't think of the word. It's probably going to come to me eventually. But, he held her down to prevent her from hurting anybody, including herself. And then eventually he basically dismissed her from the party. He threw her out or something like that. And Of course, Azealia Banks and the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan, apparently they both have two different sides of the same incident, the same occasion. What happened? She says this, he says this. Two different things. Huh. Okay, when I first heard RZA say what he said about it, when he was first asked about it, I'm listening to what he says, and I'm like, okay, but I wasn't there, so it's like, and you're both saying, you and Azealia are both saying two different things, so I don't know, I wasn't there. What really got my attention about that, and of course Azealia was like, screw Russell Crowe, that was disrespectful. She seemed really hurt and affected by that, and if what she is saying is true, I ain't mad at her at all about that. Because she should be offended. That's really disrespectful if Russell Crowe really did that, And she was like, me and RZA were cool, and then she did one interview that I saw within the last year, and I was like, yo, that's what's up. I was giving her mad props, because I was like, she kind of showed a vulnerable side of herself, and I thought she was being really honest. She was like, I felt betrayed. She was like, I thought RZA was my friend, and I felt like the way he did me, the way he was talking about what happened that night was kind of whack. That was messed up. That's not right. So, of course, she's mad. And I've had plenty of female gems being short for Geminis, because I think they're beautiful. They're gems. I've had a good amount of good friends that were female gems, and when they go in, they go in. They don't play around. They do not play around. And she seemed, really upset and, disappointed in RZA. They just came out with the movie. What is it? Beats Rhymes Life or something, and I didn't see it yet. But the previews I saw, Azealia looked really good in it. I was like, yo, you should do more movies. Real talk, Azealia Banks. You should do more movies. Because I thought she looked sharp as a mofo in the previews. I was like, yo, it's just natural. It's like, yo, you got this. Do more movies. Do more movies that you want to get into. Do more cool stuff. It's like, yo, I was feeling that. I like that a lot. What got my attention about these whole recollections about what happened, what got my attention was actually the RZA. He did a radio interview last year. I think he went on The Breakfast Club with, I think it was Mathematics, and of course Charlamagne the God. Big ups to Charlamagne the God, because I am a fan of The Breakfast Club. He was asking RZA straight up. He was like, yo, so can you tell us, me, Envy, Angela Yee, the listeners, the viewers, can you tell us what happened that night with this whole Russell Crowe, Azealia Banks hotel thing? It got my attention because I felt like that was the first time I heard RZA kind of switch it up a little bit. That got my attention. He said something a little different. It wasn't that different, but it was noticeably different. He said something like, if I remember correctly, he said something like, okay, I think that's when he finally came out and said, okay, yes, Russell Crowe. He said he didn't spit on her, Azealia Banks. He said he didn't spit on her, but he did spit in her direction. Okay. That got my attention, because then I'm looking at RZA like, whoa, wait, what? And I think he said something like he didn't mention it before. I forgot the reason, the rationale, the reason he gave why he didn't mention that before. And real talk, that kind of got me. I was like, whoa, RZA? Wait, what? So wait a minute. Why didn't you say this before? This is kind of important right now. It's like, okay, I mean, I look at it, at first I didn't think it was much. I was like, okay, that's not bad. But I was like, wait, no. We got to think about this again. Okay, let's say this is true. Russell Crowe spit in Azealia Banks' direction. But seriously, it's like, what? Oh, so he got lucky? He spit in her directions, but his saliva did not land on her? And does that mean it's okay? No, I don't agree that it's okay. If that really happened, I think that is whack and super disrespectful. That's crazy. And one thing, like I said, with Azealia Banks, it's like she's had the same story the entire time since this happened. A couple years, back in 2016. It's like she's pretty much said the same things happened every time. She goes back. Let me try to continue to move forward. But that's something. RZA said that got my attention on The Breakfast Club. and I'm at the point now, like I said, I like the Breakfast Club. I'm at the point now where I would love for, I've heard, if I'm hearing this correctly, if I remember correctly, I've heard Azealia, because Azealia Banks, she does what she does. She goes out and she goes public when she does not like somebody. I do not think that is always necessary. Absolutely not. I'm not in love with everybody either. There's a lot of people, a lot of coworkers, a lot of people I've worked with in the past. No, we're not best friends. No, we don't exchange Christmas cards. No, there will be no Thanksgiving dinner. And I will not give them a high five when I see them. However, me doing what I do for a living, if it's best for business and I'm in a position where I might have to work with these individuals again, he or she, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I can work with you. Now, screw your life. I can work with you, but you know what I'm saying? We don't have to be friends. We can do what we do good business, hopefully that's the idea. That's the objective, do effective business. And then you go your way, I go my way. It's really that simple. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. It's too much energy for me to be wilding out on people, each and every single individual person that I don't rock with like that. It's like, that's too much energy. Work is my primary hobby, not making friends, okay? And not to say that to say, oh, I hate people, I dislike people. No, it's just, a lot of times I do not appreciate people. I don't like how they're going about things. So, and if you're familiar with Azealia Banks and you've heard her do interviews, in the past, yeah, she's had moments where it's like, I'm listening to her talk, I'm like, Azealia, yo, chill, please chill, man. Please chill. Not to say she's in the wrong, but it's like, chill. That's too much right now. Chill. So apparently, what have I heard? What does she want? If I got this right, she wants a public apology from Russell Crowe about the incident. Now, if Russell Crowe were to do that, number one, I don't think that's happening tomorrow. But if he were to do that, which, unless he just quits giving any sort of fudgesicles about any future plans he has in his Hollywood career, I don't expect for him to do that anytime soon, But if he does, that's going to make him look really bad because it's like, okay, now you're publicly admitting that everything that she claims that you did, everything that Azealia Banks claims that you did to her, that she accused you of, what have you, that she says you did this, Russell Crowe. If you apologize, that's going to make you look really bad, even if you speak very, very, very selectively. Kind of the way maybe Pebbles talks when she talks about, what went wrong when she was managing TLC back in the 90s. I noticed that too. It's like you're speaking very selectively, and when you're speaking very selectively, that means you don't want to get in trouble or caught out on your crap. So if Russell Crowe was ever to issue Azealia Banks a public apology, that might not go so well for him. You've got to be a damn great selective talker for that to go well, and for your Hollywood career not to be ruined, or for people to, still want to do business with you after that. You got to come really, really, really clean and hope for the best. If what Azealia says is true, happened that night in 2016 in Hollywood, okay? You come on now. Come on. What else does she say? She wants to sue Russell Crowe. Okay. Hey, hey, do what you do, especially if you feel like you're not in the wrong and you got the facts. That's why I hope, like I listened to Azealia Banks' music for the first time in a while last year, and I love it. Like, I love it. It's so dope. She has like a couple of tracks where she's actually rapping, and her rap is, she's got bars. She's got lyrics. You know what I'm saying? She had it was like one or two songs, and the rest of her music is like dance and trancy or whatever you want to call it. But I love all the songs. I love all the songs. That's why I thought the album she's promoting now, I thought I heard it last year, but who knows? I'll figure that out a little bit later on. She wants to sue Russell Crowe. Just move effectively. That's the only thing I could think about, That's the only thing that comes to mind, when it comes to Mrs. Azealia Banks and how she's moving about this. Just move effectively, think wisely, move wisely, make wise, effective decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was thinking about earlier today. You know, what's his name? Vince Staples says that he supports, Azealia Banks' side of the story about that incident with Russell Crowe. I need to look him up online. I still, is he a rapper? I still don't know who he is, but a lot of people give him props apparently. So I got to check him out, see what he's about. He made a good point. He was talking about if Medea ever spit on Taylor Swift, how would the general public respond to that, or if Taylor Swift ever said that happened, which, but anyway, not a bad point. Yeah, so I don't want to keep talking about this, all right? Because people have been talking about this now for going on 2 years. So, do you believe Azealia Banks' side of the story, or do you disagree? Part of it, I might be able to say, excuse me, I could perhaps potentially say, well, yeah, the way that the general public that are familiar with you perceive you, that's kind of your fault. Some of your interviews, you talking kind of reckless, and you seem to give nope. You're talking kind of wild. If that's how you really feel, okay, that's your business. But I've also seen Azealia do interviews, and I love them. It's like, she's dope, but she has proven that she will go off. I would love to see her, this album that she's promoting right now, I would love to see it do really well. It should do really well because she makes dope music, and she's a great artist. She's interesting, and she takes nice pictures, just to put it mildly right now. I don't want to go crazy. She's not bad looking at all. But I would love to see Azealia Banks go on The Breakfast Club, just to make that movement, you know what I'm saying? Please don't be one of those guests that crap on Charlamagne, because that's corny now. It's like, come on. It's like, how you go, it's one thing if you're a host and you're being an a-hole, but it's like, how you go on somebody else's show and, be whack, be disrespectful, be condescending. Kanye West did it, which I thought was funny that one time years ago. Monique did it. She was condescending, very condescending. Oh my goodness. So squash all that. That's corny. That's whack, okay? That wins you no points, as far as the public opinion of myself goes, and probably a lot of other people, because, get over yourself. Stop that. I would love to see Azealia Banks go on something like The Breakfast Club or Sway in the Morning, whatever, and, really promote what she's doing right now. When she focuses on work and she focuses on that, I think she does really well, because her material does not suck at all. So I would love for that. I would love to hear that. And if you're still going to talk about the situation, which I believe that she is, go on The Breakfast Club and put it out there. Get over that crap. If you got personal issues with Charlamagne, please. It's so corny when people go on The Breakfast Club and dish Charlamagne. It's like, cut it out, because he's not stupid. He knows how to go in too, if that's what you really want. I think he can accommodate you. And it's just, come on. I think overall, we should be so past that when it comes to Azealia Banks. It's like, Azealia, we know you go off. All right. We know you can go ham. Okay. I'm not doubting that, but just go promote yourself. You know what I'm saying? Keep it classy. Keep it classy. Keep it classy, New York City. Keep it classy, all right? Even if you go to San Diego, keep it classy still. But just do your thing, Move that work. That's really all I think about that, too. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. That's really all I think about that. Do you agree with Azealia Banks? Her recollection of what happened, her and the Russell Crowe situation from, 2016. Do you like how the RZA went about it? Let me know what you think if you want to think about it. Otherwise, or if you want to say something about it. Otherwise, that's cool too. I'll be here. I'll stay on here, so we'll be all right.